First of all, I don't have much hopes because I've read a research today by Cambridge University where a psychologist made an analysis that we humans, once we select across multiple choice, we go by the rule of 37%. Meaning, if you're dating 10 ladies, the first 3 are for fun, the fourth is the one you pick, the rest is stress. So I'm the first. We know the Comfort Key to Rome is the winner. And so welcome, I don't know where you are. But I will be here to make you give fun.
Remember, it's innovation.
So as you see, I'm from Deutsche Telekom. From my name, you can guess I'm not German. So I'm Italian. I'm going to talk to you about 5G roaming enablement, our innovation in the 5G roaming enablement market. But before going into that, I want a key message to be acknowledged, already mentioned by Jirai. Once we talk about 5G, we have to be aware that 5G standalone is the first technology designed not for humans. It is a technology designed for machine to serve humans, but it is designed for machines. And what does this mean for the roaming ecosystem? And I'm going to dig into this, raising some questions to the audience. First question. Would you travel in an autonomous driving car knowing that as soon as you cross the border, roaming is best effort? I wouldn't. I assume all of you agree. Why this? Because until we were in the 4G technologies, when everything was designed for humans, we knew that the fastest reaction time was the one of the people for our fun that they were risking their life our Sunday. So roaming was enough, roaming with the concept of home routing was sufficient to satisfy those needs. With 5G, once we are going in really interaction with like haptic interaction, drone controls, there we are forced to have technologies like mobile edge computing, edge, in order to really guarantee that the interaction between the machine and the application is really less than 10 or maximum 20 milliseconds. So 5G defines how to satisfy those needs, but actually there is a lot of intermediate scenarios where edge might be an overkill, but that now are possible. And in this sense, we as an industry, we need to look for solutions where home routing is sufficient, when speed of light at the end is still limited. So can we address the needs of different use cases based on the different technologies? And so we need to test how can we do it with home routing, with local breakout solutions where possible, where needed, and where we need eventually, in some cases, regional breakout solutions. So as an industry, we need to be able to address and being able to provide to the different scenario, the different technology. And the message that we have that is the impact for the roaming industry for us, what it means that for the same destination, in some cases, there will be multiple paths. There will be a path with home routing, a path with local breakout, a path with edge. So every street will bring to Rome, as they say, but some of them are scenery and some of them are faster. And depending on the use case, our packets will need to take different routes. This brings me to the second question, because latency is one thing, reliability is another. Because also in this case, we want to have the guarantee that everything reaches destination. And here comes the real industrial revolution of 5G, because 5G is designed to connect everything to everything, everywhere, at any time. It's not anymore like in the past that it was designed for humans, but it is really designed to connect everything. And here is where we see, if we look at this transition time, we see really the battle that we operators had in the different phases of the technologies. Until 3G, we operators did what was our mission. We were operators, not innovators. We were operating technology. And we were fighting in bringing the best quality of service to our end users until 3G. We were fighting with the quality of service, meaning my SMS delivery was 99.8, yours was 99.9, 99.99. My voice quality was this compared to the other ones. But then came 4G that showed a total different world where the fight, the winner, became who was providing the best quality of service, quality of experience, not quality of service. They started, the OTT players, when they stole our touch point, they were looking at the consumer first. What does he want? And how do we provide him with that service instead of how do we provide him with that technology? To make an example, A2P, we were talking the case today. As an operator, we launched for SMS A2P, we launched the SMPP protocol in order to give delivery receipt. We didn't care that the next stop was dropping the message, as we saw in the hackathon. But how did some OTT players solve this? They disregarded that information, and all they did was they were looking, is the user inserting the PIN code in the website? If not, the SMS didn't reach destination. So they just changed route instead of focusing on the technology, but they focus on the service. And with 5G, this battle for the best quality of experience goes to machines, where we need flexibility and adaptability. Meaning, for example, we launched this use case that you drive your car at the Frankfurt airport. You push a button and the car parks on its own while you go to the gate. What does it mean? That until you push that button, the car was a connected car. Once you pushed it, the car requested the APIs at different network slices. It got then edge computing to communicate with all the cameras in the airport and then started parking. And once the car got parked, it went back to the original quality. It didn't need anymore the ultra low latency quality in that moment. So this means that we need, as an industry, to be able to adapt to our subscriber. It's not anymore giving a 2-year contract, you get all you want. It's not anymore a human. Now it's a machine. And most importantly, we need reliability in transport. So we need to look at how the industry is looking at also the peering between carriers, between operators, and all the routes those message gets. And this brings me to the third question, because now we have all those machines connected, ultra-reliable connectivity. The real problem is this. It's not Skynet. It's maybe a blah car telling you, oh, while you're talking, you want to go left or you want to see the tree closer to you. Closer and closer. So the real problem is how do we secure all those machines and how do we secure all those interconnections, also in roaming. And this is where the industry is fighting since 3 years. 3GPP, the protocol, defined that with 5G there is an end-to-end interconnection between operators, guaranteeing that nobody in the middle reads anything, guaranteeing that there is no any risk of somebody sniffing data or using the data or manipulating the data or injecting data. But the industry is fighting since 3 years to define how that security mandate fits with an operability mandate, because there is a lot of new complexity that is coming into the picture, coming from that same security. And GSMA is also going in the discussion about providing also the old concept of hop by hop security, like it was in the 3GPP. And this brings me to what we are offering as Deutsche Telekom, is at the end is a collaboration environment. We come back to your question of this morning, how do you innovate, like the Che Guevara or like somebody else? We believe in innovation by collaboration. I think we as an industry, we have to forget that we are competing, because if we compete just between operators, at the end, we lose against the OTT players. So we have to take, all of us get together and understand for each aspect of 5G, how do we want to tackle it? If we look at security, we need to test all those different security mechanisms and understand what is the security level we want to engage with, that we are able to operate, and understanding that nobody has the same, will have your same understanding. Some operators with whom you want to be interconnected in an extremely secure way might have a total opposite approach to have a more an operable way. And this interaction is necessary. So what we offer is a collaboration environment between partners, vendors, and operators, and different type of carriers to really test all those scenarios around security, to test also all the scenarios on how can we bring quality of experience and quality of service in transport in all our roaming interconnection. And last but not least, the real innovation of 5G, to enable testing about how network slicing, roaming, and mapping between operators can work. How can you offer standard roaming value-added services? And most importantly, how can you enable total new type of service with network exposure APIs? Because with 5G, we have the possibility to expose all our networks outside to enterprises. And we could give them the flexibility to choose the right quality they need. Like in this case of the autonomous parking car, you need an API for the car to request a different quality. Or if you have a VR application, you maybe want to communicate with the application to let them know what is the frame rate they can receive because of the distance of the antennas. So there is no need to send too much data, but to really give the data the user, the device needs in the moment. So at the end, this is what we offer, a collaboration environment for everybody to test together. And our message is, we need to start. There's no time to wait. That's it.
Thank you. So I guess it's time for questions from the lines. Any questions? Any challenges? Any growls?
Forgive me, I'm an old school guy, so I'm writing my questions here. First question, I need to know from you what exactly you test in your environment. Are you testing the 5G authentication, registration, setup, data transfer, browse test? I need to know the overall test areas.
The complete things, yes. Yes, maybe could you go 2 slides back? Just that
sure.
So maybe, I think. On the security side, okay, so for sure we test all the device registration. So in all the different ways how security can be implemented with direct interconnection, hosted, outsourced app, or also signaling hubbing. Plus, a part of the device registration, really the complete payload. And at the end, in some cases on our POC, we're also testing the voice over NR between the 2 operators to really see if the voice is, yes, voice over new radio. But we also, so this is just touching, let me say, the authentication and device registration, but then we also go into phases to test all the low latency scenarios. So how to test local breakout, regional breakout solutions to really see if there is an improvement or changing how the way peering works for specific use cases to really see how can we increase that quality.
What would be required from the operators which would like to be part of this POC? Do they need to come with their own lab environment and interconnect with yours, or you are going to emulate the network of the partners? Okay, they need to have a 5G standalone environment, either in production or in the lab, and interconnect it to ours. On top of that is just time and dedication, because all those tests are time-consuming. And at the end is openness, because in some cases, some learnings brings to decisions that are the opposite of
what the operators started the POC together. We saw some operators that they were insisting on having their own SEP to do really SEP-to-SEP interconnection between all operators, and then they realized that it's too complex. And they went to scenarios where they want instead an hosted SEP to simplify some of the interconnection.
Okay, and then for the operators which are having their own SEP, would you support that scenario? So to test with the
Correct.
hop-by-hop SEP? Yeah.
To test the hop-by-hop or to test also the directs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You mentioned also the environment of a combination of MNOs, vendors, and carriers. So what do you allow, what do you supply there? You asked the interconnection there between two roaming partners, but what, do you have a common offering there that you can mix and match and get the learnings from, or how? Because I really like the idea of working together and sharing.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Okay, we are already interconnected with some operators where we are doing different type of testing. Some of them just security, some of them also the local breakout. With some of them, we're also starting the network exposure APIs. Security is the precondition to any of the others, because without security, there is no roaming in 5G. What we offer is really an environment to test all together. So at the end, the operators can bring their own core network, their own vendors, and test interoperability with other operators, with another core network vendors in different scenarios to see if, in some cases, an hosted SEP configuration is better than another. We strongly recommend to test all the security scenarios, because in some cases, some are simpler, some are more complex, but an operator should really have, let's say, a pondered decision how much of the security they want to give away. Considering that some of your customers, maybe if you have an IoT proposition, they will require security. We already know some IoT players that they say they are going to select operators only if there is a direct roaming interconnection between them without no player in the middle. And we see ourselves as an operator. I'm a carrier, yes, but I'm still part of an operator group. We want to extremely focus on security. So for us, it's better security more than operability. We are there to help in the operability.
And if all 41 operators which launch 5G standalone would show up and ask for to be part of this POC, would you be able to manage all this workload, or you need to prioritize, and what would be the criteria for prioritization?
Sorry, I'm not sure.
If I understood that 41 operators launch
yes.
5G standalone. So let's imagine that all want to be part of this environment to test together with you. How are you going to manage, how are you going to prioritize them?
Okay, we will, at the end, you need two operators. At the end, you need to find one that is interested in the other one. So we can bring them together, and then they will need to choose between themselves if they want to run a POC together. Some of our operators are already giving the go, they'll test only in production. So that's already a cow criteria in some cases, because the other one is maybe only a lab. So first of all, it comes with the two operators. They need to find each other, and they need to agree to do it. And then we can go through the list of use cases and understand what they want to test together.
Okay, another question, please. Based on the knowledge you gathered from the POC environment, how do you see the future for the 5G SA?
That's an interesting question. The future is that there is no time to wait. The more the industry waits also for the standardization to define the better model, the worse it will be to really start. So I think each operator should now take the decision to start testing with carriers, with partners directly. The future, I think, the real USP of 5G comes with the bottom area, where you have network slicing, where you have edge computing. Edge computing for ultra-low latency reliable channel. This is where 5G stands for. If you look at 5G being just a new G, then 5G NSA is sufficient for you. So if your focus is consumers, you don't need 5G standalone. If your focus is IoT, you need 5G standalone. Yeah.
Do you see the investment that the operators were going to have for 5G SA really deserves, or the operators will get the benefit and they can get the money back they invest in the 5G SA?
It depends on the, as I mentioned, it depends on the focus of the operators. Talking to all operators, so these 41 operators who we are talking to, we see that we can categorize operators in 3 groups. One group is the operators focusing on consumers. For them, 5G is a new G. So at the end, they don't need 5G SA, even if they're launching it to have a marketing gig, technology launch, but they are not going to really look into roaming. If then we'll have the second group of operators is the ones that focus on IoT. For these ones, 5G is crucial. And I believe that these are the ones that will get the IoT business. But the real winners are the ones that are agreeing in exposing their network APIs for enterprises. The ones that are open to take, at the end, the risk that an enterprise wins some touch point that they will not get otherwise. But if you give them that flexibility, they will be the winner. An example is an API to choose your data routing. An API to choose, okay, this traffic goes home routed, this other traffic goes local. Because my user is there, he can't have the car waiting to decide to brake and make a round trip on the planet.
So looking at the solution that you're proposing here, it seems to be right in time, doesn't it, in timing-wise? And it seems to be taking on board what we just spoke about, VoLTE and 5G, doing things and not waiting. So what is the value, would you say, for an MNO? Is it the time and to be ready? Or what is the major value that this solution provides? And what is the cost against that value that you would have?
Okay, the cost is the time the operator dedicates. There is no charges that we give for this. The value, I think, is learning together. Because also for us that we provide the solution, we are learning what is really needed and share the knowledge across all the players. The value is at the end, the open. I think that's a major challenge. The industry must go from collaboration to cooperation. We really need to cooperate together to understand what is happening. And if we just fight between our MNOs or the few carriers to have more of the pie will just get smaller over time. So I think now is the moment. 5G at the end embraces APIs. We need to, and APIs for me is collaboration between organizations. So that's what we stand for. We want to collaborate.
And you welcome MNOs, vendors, enterprises, OTTs. Where is the limit?
That's a good question. At the end, by when, I guess the decision is by when it is, at the end, not anymore time for playing. Now is the time for playing around for all the operators. There will come a time when it's time to really launch those solutions. And then once it is time to launch, probably the time for playing will decrease. Yeah.
I'm in a very tricky position because every time I think of a question, my colleagues ask it before me. So I've been having a hard time figuring out what to ask you. But ultimately, my doubt is this proposal of yours something that your competitors cannot replicate, or I mean, I failed to see what was the
USP.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, this is true. a lot of, at the end, a lot of carriers can also provide the collaboration environment. What we see we are differentiating is the scope. We don't touch just the security and the device authentication. We touch scenarios of Airbus, API exposures, low latency roaming, and ultra low latency roaming. We didn't see this completeness of scope in the industry still.
And the other thing I wanted to raise, and it's a bit provocative, is I failed. I support the idea of doing things to learn and discuss and share. I'm a big fan. I've been attending a lot of conferences. Diraj and Jason know that very well. But ultimately, we share in order to work better, in order to create, and in order to make money, I think. So I do support all the discussion on the improvement of the service, and allocating the slices in order to make sure that we feel safe enough in that self-driven car. But I don't see any discussion on who's paying. It seems somehow that the companies negotiating with the car vendors and other manufacturers have a lot of ideas on how the visited networks should implement it, but don't seem very open to discussing who's going to pay for it.
For some of the use cases, like you made example of this autonomous driving, there will be for sure necessity for the operator to cooperate more between each other and share revenues and costs between each other. I made example of the self-driving car. So at the moment it's in the Frankfurt airport, so you go there, push the button, the car parks on its own. But the same application, one day the same car manufacturer wants it in the Dubai airport or in the Lisbon airport. And what does this require? It requires that the visitor network must support the same network slices that the home operator supports. It also means that the M4DC gets paid via BC. That's why there is the bubble BC there. It also requires that the visitor network supports edge. And they have also to deploy an edge node in the airport of Lisbon, of Dubai. Or Denmark, so Copenhagen, or sorry, you said Romania. So the visitor network must have these technologies, and there must be a new type of roaming relationship to enable the visitor network to make money, because at the end they are the ones that are selling capacity to the home operator, and edge capacity. So there is a complete new world of federation of edge nodes, how an operator can do a scaling of an edge node once the other might upload an app, or maybe once you need to deploy another node somewhere else. So edge is bringing a total revolution in roaming, and this phase is about testing, understanding how it works, so that each operator can do his own business case, and then launch it together.
I just want to say something to finish. I'm in a very comfortable position that usually people don't make me questions because they cannot pronounce my name. So they cannot, the audience will prefer to ask something to other lions. So I dared maybe to be a bit more provocative than I should. But at my last note are two compliments. One, because you really met the timer. I was amazed. And the other one is, I'm not sure if I was seeing properly, but the inside of your jacket is Is it pink?
I'm magenta.
So, I mean, my heart was warm when I saw it because I thought this is love for the company, and I think we should all be inspired by this kind of things. That was really amazing.
I know, and I asked a lot of questions, but my last two questions. If I want you to tell me only the most important competitive advantage for your solution, and what is in it for Deutsche Telekom? What are the benefits for you?
Okay, the real differentiator is the fact, yes, I'm a carrier, but I represent an operator group of, 300 million subscribers. So regardless of me being a carrier and trying to push operators in the direction a carrier might like, my drive is to make sure that security will never be breached. Because if I offer something to even to Telecom Germany, T-Mobile US, something that breaches security, it endangers the brand much more than just as a carrier I got hacked. So my USP is hardening the SAP and push any I was in a customer meeting when I was telling a customer, no, I don't sell you that, it's not secure. My sales manager wanted to kick me at dinner, but for me, security, for telecom, security is a core. So our USP is hardening of the SAP and any 5G roaming relationship. What was the second question?
What's in it for Deutsche Telekom? What is the benefit for Deutsche Telekom for offering
Deutsche Telekom as a group, we want to be a leader. T-Mobile US was the first operator that launched the 5G standalone. T-Mobile US was the first operator that launched 5G standalone. We are looking for overarching solutions for all the operators. So for us, it's also learning together and try to launch. Maybe new ideas come from another operator, and we do cooperation on those. So,
apart from any questions, would you have any feedback for the solution? Thank you.
I think I embrace the approach. I mean, working together, collaboration, cooperation, whatever you may call it, that is what's needed to speed things up and to share learning. And I think that is the key message that rests with me.
For me, it's okay. Thank you.
Great. Ella?
No, I totally agree with what Annelies said about collaboration, and I think I believe we all agree that this is the way to work together. And it's great that T-Mobile came with this idea, so congratulations.
Nothing to add, except that I would like to see more about where the money is coming from.
Sure. Thank you. Well done, you survived. Wow.
For now.
So,